Hello and welcome back to Granted Gardens. My name is Melissa and today you're probably here for the very first 2023 garden update. But before we start, I've got some really special news to share with you. Tyler and I are expecting a baby. So we found out back in April that we were expecting and we're due in January, early January. And it all seems to be just kind of flying by. This is our first, so we're really excited. We really haven't been staying on top of YouTube since we found out because there's been obviously a lot of stuff that we need to get organized and together. And honestly, it's been exciting for us and it's been a priority. So that's really where our focus has been. But we have been keeping up with the garden. And so I wanted to just take a moment to get on today, share with you guys some of the great news, and also walk you guys around the garden so you can see what our 2023 garden looks like this year. Here's a quick look at our chickens. We are down to 3 hens. But they're still beautiful and we love them. Hi ladies, good morning. We were planning on getting some chicks from our friend Michelle and this year. But by the time that they were ready to kind of come to us, we had found out I was pregnant and I just didn't have it in me, unfortunately, to give them the right amount of attention and the right amount of care when introducing them to a new flock and all of that. So we passed this year, but hopefully next year we will for sure be getting more. We're right behind the chicken coop is kind of this area that I had discovered over the last couple of years. I really wanted to utilize it as a space for like peace, relaxation, prayer. So I'll show you guys what it looks like now that everything is fully green. Okay, so we're back behind the chicken coop. Here's kind of the entranceway. I had found these posts in our backwoods. I was going to try and grow stuff up them, but there's just not enough sun. So here we can walk in. I got my stepping stones done. I think you guys saw me do that. The bench, some decorations, bird feeder. And then you get a nice view of the chicken coop here from the little sitting area. So here's my space that I wanted so badly. It is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful back here. And the one thing that I really like the most is like kind of looking up. You feel like you're in almost like a cathedral like setting, and look at even like the little sunbeams. It's kind of ruining the shot, but it's really pretty. So this is like my little secret garden area. Here is raised bed number 1. What I did differently this year in this bed, I put cucumbers on this trellis. I think we usually do beans. I actually put a ton of tomatoes in here this year as well. I don't typically have tomatoes. I have done tomatoes, but this bed is usually heavy peppers because they just do so well over here. It also tends to get a little bit more shade, so we've noticed that peppers do better over here. However, these tomato plants are doing spectacular. Look at that. And then back on this end is just some peppers, which are very much hidden from the other direction by all these tomatoes, and a lot of weeds, y'all. I just haven't gotten in here yet. Here is another set of just absolutely beautiful cucumbers. All right, so here we're seeing more tomatoes. These are a lot of my purple Cherokee. Some of my larger slicer ones are here and coming along nicely. I threw a couple peppers in here. You'll also see there's some onions kind of sprinkled throughout because I wanted to make sure I was taking advantage of all of my growing space this year. And then more cucumbers on this side. Something different I wanted to try too is I took these little canisters, these little planters, and planted beans in them and was hoping that the beans were gonna like grow up the little gate, the little fence that we have here. They're finally starting to do something, but it's taken them a long time and I don't have a ton of faith. We've got our nasturtium that's hanging on for dear life. Tyler's bed, I think he did all peppers this year. And then we kind of start walking into the wilderness. This has not been weeded. We've got some sorts of plants growing here. Wish I could tell you the details. I know this one is a cucumber because I picked one, and I think those two are melons. I'm not sure entirely what kind. That'll be a surprise. In the back here, we have actually 2 squash plants, again, getting eaten alive. I need to try and clear that out. I'm pretty excited about this area though. I've got some squash growing along the back, and then Tyler has seeded watermelon. So this will eventually be completely covered in vines, which will be very pretty, but a bit messy, but very pretty. Then along this side is where you're gonna see my dying off peas and beans. Again, most of them choked out by the weeds. This is gonna be a work in progress. All of this is gonna get torn out and reseeded. So this is our food forest. This has been one of Tyler's projects that he kind of started and piecemealed together one by one. Like a little bit of something gets added every single year, I think. Here's one of our elderberries. It's got to be easily 8 feet tall. And then if you peek in through the far back, you can see that is the beginnings of our asparagus. So excuse the mess that is our greenhouse, but right over here are our raspberries. No joke, I have picked from these probably easily every other day, at some points every day, and walked out with like at least 2 or 3 cups of raspberries every single time I come to pick. We did plant a couple cherry bushes a few years back. They have not done much, but it looks like we have our very first cherry ever. Still got a ways to go, but getting there. This is my beautiful flower bed that the deer have had their way with. Here is our potatoes. We did those in the same place last year. And then over here, we're trying cabbages again, which you can see the culprit right here flying around. We've got some bugs. We've tried to address it, and we're doing the best we can. It is what it is. There's some onions sprinkled throughout there. And then I also have zucchinis on either side. Here is the herb bed. I kind of let it go a little wild at this time of the year. I do try to keep up on it and pick and dehydrate. But weeding obviously hasn't been done. I've been a little preoccupied. And here are our grapevines, which I am happy to say, look at that. So we're getting grapes. The sun is out. So we'll do a quick look up here at what we've got going on the deck. It's much less than we usually do. Our deck at this point of the year is usually completely covered in pots and plants. But this year we tried to keep it a little bit more simple. So we've got our green stalks that are doing pretty well. We've got a couple olive plants that are up here, some mint shampoo plants that we're working on, lettuce, some herbs, but nothing too crazy. A lot more space on the deck this year. Well, Well, that's a wrap for this video. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking out our 2023 garden. I'm super excited to share this with you guys, and thank you so much for being a part of this family and this journey. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.